Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today we've got Shawn Wang. Shawn, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so today we are going to learn about Netlify, and specifically we're going to learn about Netlify functions and identity. Is that right?
Yeah, hopefully. That's a lot to cover, but we'll get it done.
Okay, so do you want to maybe just, I guess as a start, like Netlify has a whole suite of products. And so I think the one that most of us would be familiar with is Netlify build, right? This is how we're publishing our GitHub repos onto the web using Netlify.
That's right. So actually, we never called it Netlify Build until probably about 3, 4 months ago. And essentially, Netlify, we rebranded our offerings into three different things. There's Netlify Dev, Build, and Edge, and that's on
Okay.
your screen right now. And so Build is an Edge. So Build is the primary thing that people know Netlify for, which is our build bot. We help to build run the build process of static site generators, and then host them as static sites on our CDN. So we're a CDN first hosting platform. And then we released Netlify Dev recently, and I was the CLI developer on that. We can talk about that, which is just running the local dev environment, taking your entire production environment and running it locally, so you can test before you actually push to production. And then finally, Edge is something that we'll be talking more about in future.
Okay.
With sort of smart Edge. It's called Edge Logic, which is pretty similar to. I can't really go into much detail, mainly because I don't know that much detail about it.
That's how people are like, what is Gatsby build? And I'm like, I would love to tell you, but I swear I don't understand how the technology works.
Basically, so you know that thing. So you and I were at Gatsby Days, and people were asking about redirects and
Yeah.
how people can how complicated some redirect setups can be. A lot of currently in Netlify is a static file where you define, all right, redirect from this to this with some status code or some other kind of. There's some flexibility in how you do the placeholders and stuff.
Okay.
But what we want to get into is programmatic uh, redirection. So you can actually use code to
Oh, interesting.
direct people back and forth. And we're going to be using some WebAssembly on the edge.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Mhm. So
So
we're hiring for that.
so this is kind of but today we're actually talking about add-ons, not products. And the first one that we were going to look at is functions. And so functions is not like a unique to Netlify thing, but just the idea of serverless functions. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those work, and then we can talk about how they work at Netlify specifically?
How functions work?
Well, yeah, just in general, because I feel like this is when you start talking about serverless, it's a new mental headspace to get into because it isn't immediately intuitive because like of course there's a server, right?
Mhm.
Right. So
Sure. So the way I mean for total newbies, it's essentially compute on demand,
mm,
where previously you would have a virtual private server or some sort of box sitting somewhere like a digital ocean or something,
hmm
and you're paying by per month like $5 or something. Um, Here with functions, you're essentially, it's like compute on demand. Whenever it's being used, you get charged for example, per invocation, and so it scales up and scales down together with your usage, and it's pretty good for spiky loads, as well as stuff that it's a side project. You don't anticipate much usage. We have a pretty generous fee tier. I think it's like 1 million or something.
yeah.
um, Actually, no, it's like 100,000 per month, per week. It's on the pricing page, but
Okay.
I've never run into it. But essentially,
And so
stateless functions to execute. It's really good, in particular, if you're hosting like a Gatsby site and you have some API keys that you don't want to disclose to your to your front end. What you basically do is you stick your API keys in a function, and then from your front end you just call the function, and that basically hides your token, and that's a really good first use of a serverless function.
Interesting. Yeah. So so if we have like probably we'll do a proof of concept here with something simple like a newsletter opt-in or whatever. But that's kind of what you would want. So if you have a static site like a Gatsby site and you want to make it do something on user interaction that needs to get stored or sent somewhere, you could just do that directly through like a fetch call, but that backend has to exist somewhere. And so some hosted platforms, like if you're trying to sign somebody up for MailChimp's already got the server running. You just have to send something to that server. But if you were trying to save like your own database, like a good example of this is Kyle Shevlin did something on his personal site that I think is really clever, where he did, is it .com? He did a beard strokes. And so when you get to the end of the article, if you want to tell him that he did a good job, you can stroke his beard.
Stroke his beard.
And so in order to do this, he needed a way to like store this information. Now, I don't know how he built it, but I bet we could rip this feature off today and build our own beard stroking, or whatever we want to make it, and we could do that through Netlify functions. We'll be able to send that to send it somewhere using a function, right?
Yeah, totally. So one thing that is still like a not a super smooth part, and it gets easier every year. But one thing that it doesn't do is have storage in it. So it's only serverless compute, and it doesn't have serverless storage. For other for actual storage solutions, there are other options that we can discuss, and that's primarily provided in the Netlify world. It's primarily provided through add-ons.
Okay.
And we have a bunch of other add-ons that we can talk about.
Sure.
So yeah, it's not directly listed here, but I can talk about those when we get there.
Okay. Well, so another thing that you and I talked about a little bit before is Netlify Identity, and so we've done a handful of streams on here about how identity works, and so we've set it up with Auth0, we've set it up with Okta, and no matter how and they've both done a good job of making this easy, but it's still, there's a lot to think about, because like OAuth is a complicated thing. It requires like, you got to go to a server and then you got to come back and then you got to go back to the server and then you end up with a token. And then you got to store that token and like make sure that you use it when you send calls. And it's just a lot of things. It's a lot of hoops to jump through if you're not really familiar with that world. And you have been working on something that I thought was really cool. And so maybe I thought the first thing we could do is let's just build a site and then let's hook that up. Let's set up Netlify Identity so that we can log in to this website.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I think this is one thing about Netlify which I didn't appreciate before I joined, but now I get more and more excited about it, is that it's not that like you can absolutely use Auth0 and Okta and whatever with Netlify. Mm-hmm. And Netlify tries to say technology agnostic, but it tries to iron the path, sort of steam iron the path of common user problems, and that's where I position Netlify Identity. It's not going to be as full featured as Auth0 or Okta, because those are, they're entire giant unicorn companies dedicated to the problem of auth. But for most solutions, Netlify Identity is going to be good enough, and for that trade-off in complexity, we get a much easier setup experience. So I like that.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just setting up like a default Gatsby site. We're going to use the default starter. I've got no major changes here. So what I figured we can do is we can build a page that we want to be authenticated, or even just some data that we want to be kind of user gated. So maybe a profile widget or something. And we'll be able to use, like, you built a package for this, right?
A package for
the wrapping Netlify Identity?
Yeah. It's called React Netlify Identity. Very creative name.
I think that's a good name for a package. It says So it does what it says on the tin, right?
Yeah. And my dream is to eventually make it into a generic thing, so React Identity. So this is just a React hook. So there's no UI bundled with this. And obviously I'm a super lazy guy. And when I want to just throw off on something, I want the UI to come with it so that I don't have to code it. So there's also React Netlify Identity Widget. And so those are two levels of abstraction, depending on how much sugar you want.
Okay. Well, so just to give us a baseline of where we are, I'm going to run yarn develop. And this is going to get us just kind of where the site is by default. And this should be running at localhost 8000. Okay, we're waiting for the site to start up here, so it's just telling us to chill. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've got a default starter. Let me make that a little bit smaller. That's kind of absurd. And this is pretty straightforward. So we've got a simple page, we've got a page 2, and that's kind of what exists in this starter. So the next thing that we want to do is I want to install React Netlify Identity. I guess I have to actually add it.
So my question is, do you want the widget or do you want the identity, or just the React hook?
That's a great question. I don't know. What's the difference?
Let's do the React hook. Sorry, let's do the widget. So you can add the widget at the dash widget.
Okay.
And then
do I still need this package?
Sorry?
Is it still the right?
It re-exports, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna install this, and then
it re-exports. So
okay, so what am I installing?
So yarn add React Netlify Identity Widget.
React Netlify Identity Widget. Got it. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I think we'll also need a dynamic page plugin. If that's what you want to do for Gatsby.
So we've got a widget, and what's the page plugin?
Are you doing a dynamic page, or are you just no? This is a Gatsby thing. Are you doing a dynamic page, or you just want to do a login on this form, on this static page?
I don't know. What do you think? We can go either way.
Yeah. You know what? Let's keep it simple. And let's just do this page. Okay. So we got the identity widget.
Yes, it is. It is now installed.
Right. And so now we have to just import it somewhere.
Okay. Let's make the whole site. We'll have to log in for the whole site. So I'm going to put it in the layout. Okay. And so what do I want to import here?
Right. So you're importing use Netlify identity. That's the hook.
And is this destructured? Okay. Yeah. Use Netlify identity.
This is on the README, by the way. You can just copy and paste.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Let's take a look at the README. So we're going to. Oh, do I need to get all these?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep. I'm sorry.
Okay. No worries. That's what
there should be a
for.
pure dependency warning.
There may have been. I totally wasn't reading. Yes, there is. So we're going to add all of these, and then, so I'm going to get the use Netlify identity and the context provider, and then the CSS. Okay, so I will just stick these up at the top. And what don't you like? It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. And then once we get down in here.
So inside your layout component, you have to use Netlify identity.
Okay. And am I doing this
as a hook? Yeah. So you got to change that into a one of those things. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so what comes out const identity equals use Netlify identity, and then whatever your deployed site thing is.
Oh, so we need to deploy this before we can do anything with it?
You don't have to. You just need to link up a site. So if you open up your terminal, and you go Netlify init.
Do I have Netlify? No. Okay.
Ooh,
Do I install
okay,
this with
well,
brew?
yeah, npmig netlify-cli.
Netlify CLI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to make a confession. I use Netlify all the time, but I literally only use one thing from Netlify. I've always just used it as like it's like my kind of a CI, you know, like I set it up for a
Netlify
site
build.
and I let it rip, and then I haven't dug into any of the other features, which is why I'm so excited to have you on today, because I feel like I'm foolish for not using the identity and the functions because they're just like sitting there, easy to be done, and I'm over here like messing with AWS Lambda like a Luddite. I'm just kidding,
That's the
not a
thing about
Dabbit if
tech
you're
is
watching.
like, once we know how to do a thing and it's not broken, like you don't, there's very little incentive to change your habits. So it's fine. Oh, and just to be clear, you don't have to use the CLI to do this. This is the way I prefer to do it. And it's really that much easier.
Okay, so
All right.
now I have Netlify.
Okay. So now you're in, and we're in the repo that you're working on. So all you just do is Netlify init.
Yep. Okay, Netlify init.
Mhm. And it just walks you through. Whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's asking you to log in for the first time.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, just head back to your.
Close this window, back to the terminal.
So you're not linked to GitHub. So actually, I'm not sure if.
Let's see what happens.
Let's link it up to GitHub.
Hit that button. Oh, and it wants me to do stuff now. Okay, so let me do. How does this command work? It's like git create, and then I'm gonna call this Netlify Gatsby. Or wait, identity. That's a bad name for a repo, but I'm rolling with it.
Is this the hub functionality?
Yeah, I love Hub. Like I don't know how I would exist without Hub. Let me.
So you know how you're a bit guilty about not using the CLI. I don't use Hub to create my repos. I go onto the website.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's like I added a couple aliases for it and like all the tab completion and stuff, and it legitimately changed my life as an open source maintainer because so many things that you can do fast. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you can
I
pull
have
in PRs and just review PRs just by the PR number, which is awesome.
for sure. And so I have done almost all of this. So now if I do like a git remote, it'll show me that I have it. So it did that. Did I commit anything though? So let me just add everything and let's figure out what's in here. Good. And we will just
version master.
git commit. I don't know. I forget what we were working on. We're just going to commit as is. No, that's going to break. I can't do that. We're going to git reset, git status. Okay, so we're not going to commit that yet. So let me just push. All right, so now I've pushed code. So if I run Netlify init again, it is already authorized. And I'm going to create and configure a new site. Okay. And we will call this.
Have a site name. Up to you. You can just hit enter if you want a random site name.
I feel like I'm going to need to link to this from somewhere. I still don't know.
All right. Just name it the same thing.
Netlify identity functions. That's bad. It's such a bad name. What have I done? I'll put it on my team. What is this? What is it doing?
Why is it asking for your? Oh, it's asking so it can commit to Git for you.
Oh.
Why is it asking that?
I don't know.
I don't. This is. I'm always logged in, so this is new. For
maybe I need to like do some kind of an auth thing. Whatever. Let me pull it up. I'll just grab.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold, please.
Damn, this is the real like first timer experience right here.
Yeah, like I said, I come in completely unprepared for these.
Yeah. Obviously, okay. I started using this a long time ago, so I don't even remember.
Oh, come on. What is... hold on. Now I got to look up my... thank you for being...
This is going to be like a first-time thing.
So upset.
I never run into
All
this.
right. Let's do this, and...
Okay, so this is yarn build.
Yarn build.
And for Gatsby, I think the directory to deploy is public. Yes, and just hit enter.
Yes.
So you used to have to manually set up a Netlify toml, and now we just write whatever you just wrote into a Netlify toml. And now we create hooks for you, so that whenever you push, it deploys to Netlify.
Cool. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so, and then if I just do Netlify
okay, so
open,
Netlify open, yeah, you knew about that. Okay.
I was just reading it. It opened in my other browser, so let me open it here.
Okay. So now it's deploying for the first time. One thing that we should set up now is
okay.
Well, it's going to be.
We don't have to watch. We could. I love seeing that like I didn't touch Netlify's site at all, and that deploy is like already running. That always makes me happy. So now I need to set up identity, right?
So we're going to go to identity.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just one click. So just enable identity.
Enable identity.
You know what? We're going to do some extra stuff as well. So let's go to actually no. Let's just leave it at this. So now, the default identity experience is just username and email and password, and we set up email confirmation for people as well. So we're just going to do that, but then we'll add Google auth and GitHub auth later.
Okay.
Right, so let's head back to the code. So we can grab this. You can grab this site, right? So Gatsby Netlify identity functions.netlify.com.
Do I want the whole thing or?
Nope, just the .com.
Okay.
I should probably parse it so it's more resilient, and stick that as a string into there.
Okay, so we're adding that, and now I have an identity.
Right. So you're gonna use the provider identity context provider. Yep.
Okay.
And stick that around your layout or your children. Do you have a children? If you scroll down.
I do have a children. I'm actually wondering if I want to do this as like wrapping the root element, because otherwise this is going to unmount and remount on every page navigation. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Let's see what happens, and we can fix it.
Yeah, it may matter. Let's find out. Okay, and then do I need to pass the identity into it?
Value equals identity.
Value equals identity.
Yeah, that's just how React context works. Okay, so now we've got it all set up, and now we can use this thing somewhere. We also need to, we have to use it somewhere.
Oh wait, I want to be able to use it in the header, so I'm gonna wrap. I'm gonna wrap more. I want to put it up here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use it instead of a fragment. Okay, and then there's something else.
And let's add in the modal. So the extra thing that ships with React Netlify Identity widget is a modal.
Okay.
And that's the default export. So
default export. So I can just call it like identity. I can call it whatever I want then.
Yeah, I call it identity modal. That's exactly what's in the docs.
Okay.
And then just stick it at the bottom. It's a portal, so it really doesn't matter where you put it. But
gotcha.
Just somewhere.
All right, then I'll just throw it down at the bottom, so I don't have to do any
identity modal
stuff. Do I have to pass it anything?
I'm sorry.
Do I have to pass it anything, or does it grab it out of the context?
Yeah. So if you look at the docs, what I have is a Boolean, and so this, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you look at the docs, like what I have is a Boolean, right? And it's like you just have true, false. Oh, I have a suspense in there as well, just because why not, right?
Right. Okay, so we've got this modal.
So it's like, show dialog equals true or false. And then what happens when you want to close it, you set it back to false again. Or you can do other commands. So here's a question of where do you want to put the state? Do you want to put the state in the top level, or do you want to control it somewhere lower down? My suggestion is actually we should probably implement this modal outside of this layout component and inside one of your pages, so that we can co-locate the state.
Yeah, you know what? Let's toss it in the header. So let's do that. We will, we won't grab it from here. And instead we'll go into the header. And so now I'm going to import identity modal from React Netlify identity widget. And then here I can, do I need to get like the context consumer or something? Or here I can just use state, right? Like I'm not doing anything magic.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. You can use state. Yeah, you can use state. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just
there's no consumer because the hook wraps the consumer for you.
Okay, so I'm able to show dialog, and that needs to be a value. So the value that
you can copy and paste from the docs.
But yeah, I think so. When I try not to copy paste too much because it's like I have a hard time learning if I don't type something out. And I think just kind of stepping through it is also really helpful. So we're going to set up a const of like show dialog and set show dialog. Yeah. And by default, we want this to be false, right? So we're going to initialize a React state with false and make sure that we import use state.
I always do the react.use state because I can't be bothered.
Oh, yeah. I remember I used to do that all the time, and then at some point I stopped, and it like left my brain so fast that was even possible.
I know.
It's really bizarre how quickly I just forget how everything on the internet works. So we have this show dialog, so I can use this now to say we've got the identity modal and we're not going to show it, but we do want to have some logic to show it.
So this is closing it from inside.
So this is where we need like a login button.
Yeah, you can take a button. Yep.
Got it.
And I call it set dialog, but whatever.
So here we have. I'm gonna have to do some gnarly inline styling here, but we're gonna do a button. Is this for accessibility? Should this be a button or a link to do a?
I think it's a button.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not navigating anywhere. It does a thing.
Is Amberly in the chat still? Because she's our resident accessibility.
She was.
We need the accessibility chops here, Amberly. I'm going to start writing this, and then she's going to tell me that we're wrong.
Is it a button? Do you have a poll function on Twitch?
I don't know actually. That's a great.
Oh no! I typed all caps, and it warned me. Message.
I need to chill that moderator out. It is. I thought that it would be helpful, and it's just been a pain in the ass. I need to turn it off. I think I need to turn it off. So we're gonna set show dialog to false.
Of me, like thought.
And then we're gonna say login, and so we want to show the dialog when you click that button, and I'm going to need. This is going to look hideous, but we can stop and restart the server. So let's go yarn develop. And as this gets running, what we should see is a unstyled button making our header all ugly. There it is. So now if I click,
ooh,
that's pretty slick. That's pretty cool. But nothing happens because we didn't set up the on close dialog. So here
what do you mean?
I just didn't add the prop. So on here I've got the on close dialog, and I'm just going to set show dialog to false when someone clicks that button. And so now if I click, it goes away. So
yeah, hit escape. Ooh,
nicely done. Okay, and then if I we've got so keyboard nav.
That actually comes from Ryan Florence's Reach dialog.
Nice.
So I didn't have to do any accessibility stuff. It just comes with it built in, which I really like.
Yeah, I think the only feedback that you're going to get is there's no active state on these tabs. So yeah, this is super cool, man. This is great work. And to sign up, so can I just sign up? Like I can just pick a username and a password and roll?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna.
So it by default it asks you to confirm your email. Oh, just like your first name.
Yeah. Yep. That's reading comprehension.
Mhm.
Let's see. What password can I make up?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Just remember it.
Oh no, here's what I've
uh,
learned. Whenever I do something easy, somebody in this chat is going to start messing with me immediately. So I have to make sure that I'm like actually secure in here. I did one a while back with Hasura, and we didn't immediately set up security on the database because we were like, oh, let's look at how some of this stuff works. And then somebody just kept changing all of our field values to secure your database, which
yeah. Hey, that's a friendly hacker right there.
yep,
So by default, Netlify sends you a confirmation email, and but you don't have to insist on a confirmation. You can actually opt out of it. I like that because some people don't want to confirm, right? They'll just enter in a fake email. And
sure.
so inside of the identity tab, if you go over to the Netlify page on the top right, um, you can go down to settings and usage, I guess.
Okay.
And if you scroll down, there's a way to opt out of the confirmation. Scroll down. So there's open invitation, right? Yeah. Oh, no. If you scroll up, I think. Oh, Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm like looking at it through your screen, and I don't know
Do I
where it
want to
is.
auto confirm yes?
Right. Oh,
Is that
so
is
it
that
just
what I'm
says
doing?
no. Oh,
Well,
okay.
right
So
now
auto
it's not auto
confirmation turns it
confirming.
off. Yeah. So allow users to sign up without verifying the email address. So
Mm,
right now it's emailed you, and so it doesn't so it has a flag on the user object saying whether
sure.
the user is confirmed or not, so that you can choose to allow access or not based on whether the user is confirmed, or show like a reminder like, hey, you haven't confirmed your email yet.
And does this show up in the like? I want to just dump some context here. So let's go into the page, and I'm logged in now. So if I want to access this user object, am I just calling use Netlify identity
Use
or
notify identity. Yeah.
okay? So I'm going to import use Netlify identity from Netlify here, and then here I want to just dump it out and see what we've got. So we'll do one of these. Identity is use Netlify identity, and I need to find that URL again, which is in here somewhere. What I should do is make this into an environment variable so that I can use it in multiple places. Then in here, I'm just going to do a dump. So we'll just do a pre-tag, then we'll do json.stringify, set the identity in there, and then because we want it to look okay, we're going to set the spacing.
Null too. Always
Do you
the
know
null
what the
too.
Do you know what the null is for? I looked it up once and I've never remembered it, and I don't think I've ever
It's
set
like
anything other.
your delimiter and all that.
Okay. Oh, cool. So all right. So we have whether or not we're confirmed, which is awesome, and then whether or not we're logged in, which apparently I'm not logged in, and that's because I like do I need to run a check to make sure that I'm logged in? Because I did log in, but it looks like it doesn't believe me.
Are you logged in? I'm sorry.
I
So
thought I
you've
was.
reloaded,
Right,
but
but
you haven't logged in yet. Oh, what is this? Let's see. So is confirmed user is logged in.
so it says I'm logged in, but
Let me
it's
have a
not.
look at the code. So you should have an object called identity.user, and you don't right now.
Yeah, it's almost like it's pulling a separate instance. But let me double check. I didn't put this outside of the layout. No, it's inside the layout. But I called use Netlify identity outside of the layout. So that's probably what happened, right? Because it's outside of the provider.
Sure, but it's lazy. It's initialized, so I don't feel like it matters.
No, I think it has something to do with Hook's call order.
Okay.
Let's experiment here because I'm pretty Pretty sure this is what's going on. So when we do, let's see, we're going to grab this and drop that in. And then I'm going to, identity is there. And then we can just, actually, no, we need this. Okay. And then we're going to return that pre-tag.
Faraz from the chat says we should just try refreshing. I don't know.
I did, and so here's my theory. My theory is that hooks, like providers and hooks, need to be called from the same level, and the layout is being called below where we were initially calling that hook. So it was effectively getting a different instance of identity, and so by putting it in here. And then we'll import identity from components identity. Then what I'll be able to do is we'll initialize it within the hook. And so it will actually be showing the data, I hope. Okay, am I logged in? No, okay, so now I'm not logged in. Okay, so let me log in again. Oh, I hope I remember this.
Email not confirmed. So this was before we set the. You can just sign up a new email because now it's going to auto confirm. Or
well, actually, I didn't change that setting. Let me just go. Let's see, mail.google.com. Just give me a second off screen while I confirm my email address. I am confirming. Okay, I am confirmed, and now I'm going to log in again. Maybe I need to refresh the page.
Yeah. And again, like this is something that I recently coded, so I may have there may be edge cases which I never thought about.
Email not confirmed. Why don't you think I'm confirmed?
So what I think it's doing is the confirmation step basically requires you to deploy this thing with the Netlify identity so that it captures because we email you a link. You click that link and it has some token to it for confirming, and then we parse that token and we parse the confirmation. So that logic is not done because you haven't deployed this yet.
Okay, so now I am logged in. And if I log in, what? Okay, so now it's not finding my info. So
the second JSON. So the second JSON should not require login.
Okay, I don't think I actually saved this. Allow users to sign up without verifying their email addresses. Okay. So then I'm going to refresh the page. Got a new one. Let's sign up again. This time will be test 3. God, I don't know why I can't remember to not type an email into that first field.
I mean, that's good user feedback. Like, I should probably pop up something that says.
So now I have this. All right. And I'm just going to navigate here and then back. It shows that I'm still not logged in.
Uh-oh.
And it's dumping that login. So will it let me?
So I wonder if this is because of the Gatsby SSR thing. Like, where's layout coming in?
It's being wrapped around each page.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's logged in.
No, it worked this time. It stuck this time.
Okay.
So now we've got a user object.
Maybe it just took a while to update the page. I've never had this delay before. But yeah, you have a user object. It's got all the metadata that you need, including whether it's confirmed or not. Yeah. So we auto confirmed you. So that's what happened. You see that? You see all the way down there.
Confirmed at, yeah.
And
Is
you can use
confirmed
the user
true.
metadata, like the full name, and then you can add extra metadata when you sign up. So if you have a bigger form, if you want like, where they're from,
Okay.
some other details about them, you can add more metadata onto there. But yeah, I mean that's your basic identity setup, and
Yeah,
you
and
can
so
use
if I wanted
this,
to in here, like instead of this, we could. Well, actually, let's in addition to this,
like hello first name.
yeah, we can do. Wait, identity user
User
metadata.
underscore metadata dot
Is
name.
it full name?
Just name. Is it full name? I think it's just it's full name. Huh.
Full name. And then save that. And now we should see there's me. All right. So that's super cool. And let's see how we're doing on time. We have about 40-ish minutes to do really whatever
Functions?
we want. Let's do some functions.
I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing because I'm pretty
Sure.
proud of this. Before we get to that, so head over to identity, the top right on the app page, app.netlify.com. Yeah. So now we're gonna add extra providers. Right now we only have email.
Okay.
So if you scroll up, I think all the way up, external providers. So we have some default providers that you can configure your own with service functions, but let's just do like GitHub or Google or whatever you want.
GitHub's an easy one.
It's a default.
We'll use default for now.
Right, but you can set up your own app, and you can add Google if you want to as well, but whatever.
Let's roll here.
Uh-huh.
Log in. Then I'm gonna log out.
So this is a check that you have to run on your code, which is identity.user. Like if you're logged out, don't display it. You probably want to put it at the P level.
Oh, I was just gonna leave it. I was just gonna bail entirely.
Sure. All right.
So that way it should just come back empty. Nothing was returned. Oh,
you gotta give it null.
Yeah. All right.
React is too strict sometimes. Like, why not do undefined, right? If you're going to do null.
Actually, I thought that one was. I thought that one did work, but no, that okay. So that makes sense. So we're returning null now because we're not logged in. So if I go to log in, testing providers on localhost because it redirects to your production site.
Oh, you have to deploy this. Okay, so you have to deploy. But you see that continue with GitHub section? Oh, yeah. You want to deploy it?
Well, yeah. Why not? Let's
just push. Git push.
Or where am I at? I think there's stuff I need to add. Git add. Do I need to ignore this .netlify?
You don't have to ignore it.
Okay.
But I do. But you don't have to ignore it. It doesn't matter.
Wait,
people who don't have access.
Actually, this is a good question. What's in this?
So it tells people. It tells you what. It tells Netlify CLI what site is linked to this repo. It's just one site ID.
Okay.
So if people don't have access to your site anyway, they can't access it. So if you push it, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. And then is this like hooked up in the TOML or?
No, the CLI reads it.
Oh, I understand. Okay, cool. I'm just in the interest of getting this done quickly, I'm just going to add everything, and then we will commit and say add identity support. And then we'll push. And now if we go back to the Netlify dashboard, I can go look at the deploys and it should be rebuilding already, which is awesome. And then once this is done, we should be able to go play with this. It looks like we got a couple questions coming in the chat. The first question was about doing something similar for stuff other than the user. Faraz, if you can rephrase that question, I'm not quite sure I understand. The follow-up question was about the React fragment shortcut, which is here. This is just shorthand for React.fragment. And so it just makes life a little bit easier. But this is a way to kind of wrap things in an element that doesn't render in the DOM, so it avoids the div soup. Another question was, let's see. So this is a question for you, Shawn. Is there a data store that we can use with Netlify?
Straight answer is no. The longer answer is there is an add-ons marketplace that we're launching, and the add-ons will enable you to add on basically any database that you want. Right now, our first partner is FaunaDB, and they've been really good, especially on the GraphQL side, in terms of spinning up a database. So we can definitely try that in this live stream if we want to. Looks like you've been logging out something. Oh, something happened with the server-side rendering.
Building failed.
This is one of those HTML snafus.
What?
So does it need to be transpiled? Is that what's going on?
Feels like it shouldn't, but I guess we can.
It looks like it is transpiled because it's not using JSX, it's using create element.
Okay. So what actually went wrong here? Is there an error message?
No, it's just like it's trying to parse.
Testing providers won't work.
Scroll up. It's trying to parse something. Let's do see our docs page. So what is this docs page for Gatsby? It's
well, that one is about like making sure that you're not trying to access the window. Let's run a build locally and see if we get the same error.
We should get the exact same error. If we don't, that's a problem. For what it's worth, I never tested this on Gatsby. I just did it on Create React App. So this is probably something I should have looked at before this live stream.
Well, that's okay. Do you know? Does anything try to look at the window? Import. Oh. Okay. I know what's happening. So let's run the transpilers. We're gonna do Gatsby compile. ES6. Yeah. So this is a plugin that'll just run everything through Babel. I'm wondering if it's because of the Babel version or the Node version. I will just. I don't think this is like a long-term solution, but this will hopefully solve our problem for now. So let me add that.
I'm also going to volunteer that. I do have one thing that looks at the window. I should probably take that out. It's the provider's code.
The provider code looks at the window.
Yeah, ironically, to check if it's localhost or not.
Okay. Is it guarded? Do you know?
No, but I should guard it.
Okay.
If you want to give me a sec, I'll just update the code and fix it.
Hot patches on the live stream.
Why not?
Okay,
this is all happening live. Okay. So I mean, this makes sense. It's just that I didn't really test it on Gatsby. I should have. So do I check window equals triple equals undefined? Something like that.
Yeah. So this would just need to check, like, basically if window exists, and if not, just automatically return false or true or whatever you want it to be as the default.
Okay. So window equals undefined, and it's awesome.
While you're doing that,
So I'm
gonna set
typing
up.
JS, and it's the VS Code is helping me with the thing. So I can refer to window, but I just can't refer to any properties of window, right?
Yeah. So basically, what you're doing is during the build, window doesn't exist. So if you try to access any properties on it during a server side rendering phase, it'll just fail with like an undefined error. So in your code, if you just guard and say like for server side rendering, this thing that relies on the window will always be false, then
Yeah.
you just short circuit that check and it never tries.
Gotcha.
That means
All right.
then,
So I've made the code. I've made the code change, and I'm about to publish it.
okay, great. And this was React.
But I mean, hopefully the compilation isn't needed, because that would be surprising if it does. And if it does, then I can make more changes. But I
Yeah,
shouldn't have to, right? I'm basically just like, all I see is like ES modules code is not being compiled down.
Yeah.
So that's been published. So it's version 0.27.
Do yarn add React Netlify identity widget at latest. And so right now we are at, what's our version right now? We are currently looking at 0.26. So this should pull in 27.
It's the little things. Yay! All right, let's yarn build and see.
All right, let's build it again. And so I have now this code is not running. So let's just try it without.
But your hypothesis was what was your hypothesis, or were you just like double checking?
So my worry is that it's trying to import modules, and it's like expecting CJS, but I'm not 100% sure. So this looks like the same problem. So let's turn this on. And let's see what happens if I run a build.
So you need a CJS build. I think I have that.
Well, I don't feel like we should need it, but I also I feel like this is a problem that we've hit a couple times, and it's one that's kind of hitting the whole landscape right now because everybody is, that was it. It's, oh no. Okay, so we're getting closer. Window is not defined.
I thought I checked against that. Is this
window,
not the check?
No, that looks. Let's I thought that was.
How should I? Yeah. So
Gatsby HTML build.
You have to get your own. You have to check your own thing.
Oh, type of.
Oh, type of. Oh God. Why is it? Oh, okay. I know why it's type of, but it's annoying that I have to remember it. It's so annoying.
And I feel like it's one of those things. It's like it's you would have to look up if we had a utility. So writing a utility is not any easier than just like having to look this up.
And just to double check, if I use the short circuit and, I'm not sure if that, I mean, to me that makes sense that that's good enough, but usually you have like a if statement around it. I just use the short circuit and. What do you think?
Yeah, so I like that. That seems like something that would be good. It is certainly not, apparently not doing what we need it to do. So
right. So you know what? I'm gonna do the long way around. That is localhost equals false, and then sorry, I'm doing all of this off screen, which is fantastic live streaming. But it's gonna. I'm basically taking out the short circuit and making sure that I put my anything that references a window inside of a guard, which makes sense, right? All right. So git admit fix window code, whatever, and I'm publishing again.
Okay, perfect. And so we're gonna get
Yeah.
the 028. Let me know when that's ready.
Yeah. I feel like the error messages in Gatsby should be better. Like I don't that was
It's
a very okay.
high on our list.
Yeah.
We know. We just published an update to the CLI to use Ink, which Ink is a React library for writing CLIs and kind of controlling
Yeah.
CLI output, and it unlocks a bunch of work
Yeah, it's published.
that we've done research for. Okay, so that's published. Let me install. And yeah, Shannon Soper has done a bunch of research on this. She worked together with Kyle, and they just kind of reviewed all of the CLI experiences out there to figure out what are the really good ones and like how can we borrow to make sure. Let's see, I'm still getting 27. Wait, did you just go mute?
It's just refresh, I guess. I mean, retry again because it's
Okay.
definitely published. It's 28.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Somebody just asked about my terminal. This is iTerm, or iTerm 2, I guess is the official one. And I customized it using an article that I definitely don't have a link to anymore. Okay, so I'm still getting 27.
Why?
I don't know.
npm.im react netlify. Oh, npm react netlify. Like I got the confirmation email and everything. It's 28 on the npm site.
Yeah, what's going on?
Maybe it's not at latest. Yeah, because I typically never. Yeah, okay, sure. I typically never do the at latest. I just put the name of it and it knows what to do.
Yeah,
as far as I know, it's at latest.
Okay, so now we've got 28. I'm not. Maybe the latest tag was just a little slow for us. So now we can build again, and hopefully everything that we get works for us. So we're gonna get through that HTML build. Come on.
Okay, well, that was a little bit of a detour. We don't have to. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
All right, so let's push.
We did it. Hey, we did it. Git push. Or wait, we need to commit everything. So what are we at? Did that. So we're going to git commit. Upgrade dependencies. All right, so we are pushing, and we can go back to our deploys. We've got our new deploy, and this one.
It's gonna deploy that.
This one's totally.
So while we're waiting, we can start on the functions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
What do you need me to do to start? Do I need to go to functions,
Nothing.
or do I just start?
Nothing. Hit your terminal.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Well, okay. I use my terminal inside of VS Code. So, but whatever. So let's.
Yeah, let's do it. Terminal.
Yeah. Isn't that much better? That's so much better. So right now, you have a secret functions folder, and we defined that for you in netlify.toml. So if you head over to netlify.toml, you can see that over there we call functions equals functions. It's stupid, but it's in the docs, whatever. But basically it says your functions are stored inside a folder called functions. You don't have that right now, but we'll create that for you when we get there.
You'll create it for me.
We're gonna do I'll create it for you. So Netlify functions create the command to run Netlify space functions :create.
Create.
And just hit enter. And this gives you a whole bunch of scaffolds. You may need to have a smaller font size to do. Well. Okay,
so I have.
You're supposed to be able to type for something. So just do like a hello world. Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
it's
so
not working.
I think this is. I'm gonna say this is probably not the Netlify CLI. It's the fact that I'm on a tiny window with my font blown way up for the live stream.
Okay. Just do it. Yeah. So you can do hello world, and then we'll step through the other stuff.
Okay.
You can
and I'll
name it
just
whatever you
name it
want. We give
hello
you a
world.
default name. Yep. So it's created a functions folder. If you look on the left.
Okay.
And it just has your default standard syntax for a serverless function. For people who are new to this, basically it fits a certain signature. It has to be, you have to export a function called handler. So exports.handler. We're doing node style because we're not transpiled. We can't use ES modules in Node yet. And then it's async, event, context, and callback. But then we don't use callback because we're returning a promise. So there's a callback signature, and then there's a promise signature. So we're using the promise signature, so we don't need the callback. And so events
so there's something important to call out there, because you just said we're returning a promise, but there's no promise here. So the way that we're making this return a promise is by using this async keyword. And so that was a really big tripping point for me when I was first starting with async await, was understanding like what happens under the hood when you use async await, and understanding that any function marked async is going to return a promise. Learning that was one of those things that I was like, oh, that's why nothing works anymore. So, okay, we have an async event, and that event is just going to get, like, where does this come from? Is this just what comes in off of
that's that just gets attached to you by the serverless backend. And it's got a whole bunch of other stuff as well. If you want to look at the full list, basically it's the same thing as AWS, the AWS callback syntax with some extra fields for identity that we'll talk about in future. So if you run this with Netlify dev, if you just run, so if you pull up do you still have the Gatsby server running?
Let's see. No.
Okay, cool. Do I want to talk about Netlify dev? Sure. So if you go to the let me paste this in the channel, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So where's the channel? So I put that in the channel, as well as my recent blog post. Just click the most recent one. Here. Yeah, just the most recent one is fine. Okay, so if you scroll down, sure. So if you scroll down, so Netlify dev is for local dev emulation of everything that you can do in Netlify. This is a beta, so we're not fully there yet. But this is just this exact image is what I want to show people. And you can obviously see the demo in the video above. But basically, so you have your project. So for us, it's Gatsby. Gatsby hosts on localhost 8000 by default, right?
Okay.
So we need to tell Netlify dev that, like, to listen on localhost 8000, and then we add in a whole bunch of other functionality like add-ons, functions, and redirects to give you basically what's the entire Netlify production experience. And then we'll give you a new port, which is localhost, for example, 8888. And then you can view that port on the browser in your local dev in your local laptop environment, and that's supposed to represent your entire production-like environment on your laptop.
So like this is our Gatsby site, and then that function that we just wrote is here, and then Netlify dev is taking all of that and turning it into the full Netlify experience, which is then available to us at localhost 8888.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's cool. That's very
simple,
cool.
Right?
Yeah. So how do I do it? Do I need to do anything?
So no, because for Gatsby, obviously one of our hugest partners, we have detectors that. So usually there's some configuration to do. For Gatsby, we've already done that. So all you do is run Netlify dev in your terminal.
For real?
Yeah, that's it. So it's listening to 8000, but it's redirecting and adding on the Lambda server, right? With port 34567. So we need to work on that output. I don't think that looks very nice. So now the final proxy is on localhost 8888.
Okay.
So if you click on that, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But now you have extra functions and stuff, right? It's
Okay.
the whole idea. So so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to localhost 8888 slash um, dot netlify slash functions slash hello world, and that's the endpoint that we just set up.
And it
Yeah.
is there a like trailing slash or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay.
Right. So and then if you do the query string, yeah, exactly. You're way ahead of me.
Awesome.
Right. So that's a serverless function running alongside of Gatsby. Yeah, in your local dev environment, you didn't have to deploy it. So
That is
previously, yeah, I mean,
that's
honestly,
super
like
cool.
as someone who works on it day to day, it's actually boring. So I'd like to get some thoughts on like, what do you
No,
think?
I mean it's like but that's a good thing. Like boring is probably one of the best outcomes for technology. You know, if something is exciting, that also probably means that it's pretty unstable, right? Like you should be aiming for boring, and I love that when it's just like, oh, it
Totally.
works exactly the way that you would expect it to work. Um, so this is really powerful because like the debugging process. Yeah, I mean, like serverless is pretty good at this. You can run your serverless site locally, but there's a little more setup to it than this. So being able to just like run a couple CLI commands and it knows that it's a Gatsby site and it just kind of does the stuff is really cool. How much time do we have left? We've got about 25 minutes. So let's build.
All right.
I would love to get this function to like do a thing. Could we use that fauna DB and maybe like store something?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do with that is Netlify functions create again.
Okay, Netlify functions create.
By the way, I have this alias to NFC because it's a lot to type. You can also type NTL for the CLI, but you know just because there's a lot of typing, I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this bigger so that we can actually see the output this time. Okay, so
Right. So
type to
so if you want to
search.
set up Fauna DB, you can set up a CRUD backend or you can set up a GraphQL backend. And I know you
Let's
which one you want.
let's do the GraphQL one. Got it. And we'll call
Yeah,
this one. I don't know. Let's call it high fives. We'll do a high fives tracker.
all right. Um, shit. This is way more than I originally thought we were gonna do. So what you see here is we're not just templating the code, we're also installing the add-on and injecting the environment variable into your Netlify dev environment. And so I'm just gonna ask you to go ahead and say yes to this one because you're a first-time
Okay.
user. But in future, you may want to modify the schema right before you push it up to
Sure.
live. So I think this is it. Okay,
Do,
so
do I
now if you
need to
run Netlify
do
dev,
like? Do I need to do
yeah,
something with this?
nope. We should probably clarify that. This is just like for information. This is what the so what happens with this? Let me just teach you. Let me just show you. So under
Yeah.
functions, if you go to your VS Code,
Yes.
so we now have
Functions.
a high fives folder,
Yep.
and we have a schema.graphql, and this is schema definition language, right, for GraphQL.
Got it.
Or if anyone's watching that's like not familiar with GraphQL, this is going to sound super alien right now. So pause me if I need to go like explain stuff. But this is schema definition language. We push it and we use the sync schema script,
Sync schema.
sync-schema.js. We use the sync schema script to push it to Fauna GraphQL.
Okay.
So and that's essentially all it does. And this is code that you own. We scaffold this for you, but you're absolutely encouraged and welcome to modify this to suit your needs, right? We
Got
just
it.
want to show you, like, I feel like this is better than docs because it's code that like it's literally pasted right into your thing, and then you go fix it to whatever you need. And so what we just logged out is the default response from that endpoint after we post that schema to the endpoint.
Okay.
Make sense?
So yes, I think. And all of these are all already set. I don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Where do those get set? Do they get put into a, like, are they in my environment?
So no, they're not in your. So they're not in your your. You're not going to see any of it in your code. But when you run Netlify dev, we go up to your Netlify instance that's linked, and we pull it down and we insert it in your
Oh, okay.
process.env.
I
So
understand.
that you can just run with it.
Okay, cool. So
So
if
yeah.
we want to track a high five, then what we're going to do is I'm going to just start by saying type high five, and we can say that it's going to have, well, really, we just need like a count, right? So we can just do like a count, and that'll be an integer, and that's required. And then well, let's just leave it at that. We're going to do the minimum here. And then we'll need a query, and so we'll say get or all high fives, and that's going to return an integer. And then we need a mutation, and that's going to be
the mutation is generated for you.
Oh, is it? Sick.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Let's
okay, so let's do that.
So let's just
and
is that okay? So I'm not actually sure if that will work, but we'll figure this one out. So this is something that I should have implemented, but basically you need to blow. So right now you have an existing schema, right? And you need to blow away the existing schema to replace this, to add this new schema, right?
And I just do that through sync schema, right?
You'd think that, but I I haven't done it. So I need you to modify the code a little bit.
Okay.
Import. God damn it. Mode override. Okay, so inside of sync schema, I need to give a query variable for mode equals override. /import, graphql.fauna.com/import, and then question mark. Yep, question mark.
Wait, is it here though? The data string?
No. Just put it in. Just put it in the /import.
Okay. Override.
Mode equals override.
Mode equals override.
Yeah, I should have this in by default, and I was thinking about doing it. I just hadn't done it yet.
Okay, so now, we've got an override mode, and so now if I assume I run a
you run a command. So now you need to execute this script inside of the Netlify dev environment. So what we have is Netlify dev :exec, exec, and then the path to your that just executes. Yeah.
All right.
You need to give it something to execute. So it's function /high five /sync schema.
Okay.
That's it. So one concern I have is I'm not sure your schema is valid. So it's going to check whether your schema is valid or not based on their schema, their interpretation of the schema definition language. Do you think it is?
I think so. I guess this would need to come back.
So
I guess we'll find out.
Okay, so why is it so slow?
I don't know.
Maybe it just doesn't execute.
Did I break it?
Maybe it just hasn't responded. You know what? I think you may be right. I may Do you think I should have injected it inside of the? Yeah. You see, the problem is I haven't tested this. This is a new thing. Okay, so let's kill this.
Okay.
Let's kill this. Okay, so I think your instinct about that endpoint was correct. So let's go back to the sync schema.
Okay. And
instead of mode override, we should probably stick this into the headers. What do you think? I think is it a header or is it a body? I think it's a header, right?
Yeah, I mean my assumption here is that data string. So it's just sending in the body straight up. let's dive into the docs maybe.
For what?
Wait, what is this?
Oh, so this is the blog post that explains a little bit more than the docs about anything that people want to know about detectors.
Okay, so we want to manage functions.
No. So hang on. What are you trying to get? No.
Well, I'm trying to look for information about this particular endpoint.
Right. Well, that's maintained by the fauna folk, not by Netlify. You know. Okay. So I think it's going to take us too long to figure this one out. I think we should just execute it without the import mode. Well, yeah, without the import mode. So just what you have right now. Let's just save that. Let's execute.
Save it.
This command.
Executing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just again.
Mm-hmm. And we should have
success. Okay. Oh, internal server error.
Yeah, because we uploaded an incompatible schema. I think that's what it is. So if you give it a high fives array, instead of right, let me just I think if you do like high five exactly, high fives array. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that you are allowed to have two queries. Like you
right.
want to combine them.
Let me just do this. I'm gonna just keep the original schema so that we don't lose.
Because I know this one works.
All right, cool. So we'll do that.
Unfortunately, we're testing very beta things right now. Yeah. Okay.
That's all right. Okay. Maybe.
Awesome.
Hey, it worked.
Right.
Okay.
So run Netlify dev.
Netlify dev.
Sorry, I'm muting myself whenever I cough or sneeze. Because I'm really sick.
Yeah, you're a trooper for getting on this despite being sick. I really appreciate that.
I've been looking forward to this for like 2 weeks. Like I'm not gonna reschedule.
Okay, so we're not looking at that one anymore.
You want to be on 8,000, right? I think you have it. Maybe you closed it somewhere.
Here we go.
Right. So instead of functions, hello world, we have what is it? High fives. Mm-hmm. So you should get a full playground. And then if you look at the schema, you have a whole bunch of stuff. And as well as the mutations created for you. So go ahead and do your thing with your mutation.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a mutation, and we're going to create a high five, and the data. Oh my God, I love this so much. GraphQL makes me so happy because I don't even need to know what the generated schema is. I just let it auto complete. And for that, we are going to give 500 high fives. And what should come back is what? A count?
Sure.
Oh, it is just excellent. All right, so let's get a high five. We're going to do a query, and we'll call this one we'll get all high fives. And then I want the count. And that should give us back.
So this is going to be an array of high fives. So we're kind of like setting up the schema wrong. We just need instances of high fives or whatever.
Yeah,
high five.
In a like full-fledged app, what we would probably be doing here is we would be connecting these to like post IDs or users or something like that. So totally. I think this schema is correct for what it would ultimately be. It's just silly when we're doing it right now where there's like one global count of high fives. But that's okay. I mean, this is like, it's cool that this works. So now what I want to do is I want to send a mutation from this function, and we've got 11 minutes to do that. So let's tuck in. So I've got this thing here. We've got our handler.
Yeah. And this is all standard Apollo server code.
Okay. And we're just missing our query. Is that right?
GraphQL, what do you want?
And headers.
No, you're sending it from the front end, right? From the Gatsby app.
And it's just picking up the query from somewhere else? Like I'm just passing in the query?
Yeah, exactly. So what this is, right? It's basically a function, a serverless function proxy between you and the ultimate GraphQL backend,
Okay.
where you can do auth checks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So
from your
let's
Gatsby app, you're doing you may need Apollo, or you just want to use a fetch. Yeah,
let's just use a fetch for now.
nice.
So
That's the
we,
way of
yeah.
GraphQL.
Yeah, we'll see how well this goes. I'm going to create a new component because otherwise I'm going to definitely get myself tied in a knot here. And we'll call this high
Yeah.
fives. And in it, we're going to import React from React. And then we're going to create a component called high fives. And that is going to be exported. Okay. And then in our index file, I'm going to import high fives from components high fives. And we will just drop this here. Okay, so in doing that, what should have happened is in our app that is still running at 8888, we've got our high fives to do. So now we need to actually make it do a thing. And the thing that we want it to do is send a mutation.
Fetch data or send mutation.
So
yeah,
we're,
okay.
well, we want to do two things. One
first.
is read all the high fives, and two, add new high fives. This would probably be two components in the real world, but we're going to cram it all in here. So
would
can
it
we
help
start with
if
a read or
if
a
I
write?
jumped in with the live share, with the live VS Code live thing, and then I can help you out with one of these?
Yeah, let's see if I can turn it on. Maybe? No? Do I have live share on this browser? Let's see.
Oh no.
I may have. So I use a different thing for.
Forget it. It's probably too much.
Okay.
Yeah, for us is let's just do the count and the button. So yeah,
Okay.
it'll probably take more time if you can just do it.
Okay. And so the query that we want is the query that we wrote, which is out here to get all high fives. So I know that I want this query. And all right, Shawn just went AWOL, so we're just gonna just keep coding from the hip here. All right. Oh, he's back. Okay. All right.
I just want to get some water. I'm sorry.
No worries at all.
No one will notice.
Okay, so I've got my query, and then I have a mutation, and the mutation is going to be a little different because we're going to want variables. So I'm purposefully leaving out template tags and all that stuff. So here I'm going to want a count, and that's going to be an integer, and we're going to use that count here. So here's what I've got right now. I've got a query and a mutation. How should I send these in?
What do you mean with the fetch?
So you're just doing like a straight up fetch to the function.
Yeah. So on load. Yeah, exactly. Straight up fetch to the function. So
okay,
on load, we use a React effect to. Actually, we can have two buttons, right? Let's just have two buttons. We don't need.
Yeah, let's have two buttons. We're not doing use effect. We're just going to do it.
Use state.
So we've got. It's going to be count and set count.
Right.
Is
and default that to like a null string or something.
We'll set it to 0, right? Because that's going to be our high five counts.
Yeah.
That way it defaults to 0. And then we want to get high fives, and that's going to be a function that's going to send query, and then it will set count to new count. So we're going to use fetch. And now I got to look at the docs because I don't remember how fetch works.
I can walk you through it.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Am I just typing in?
So open quotes and /Netlify. Yeah, /.netlify /functions
High
/
fives.
hello world, high fives, yeah. And then
Okay.
dot then. You may want to make this async await or something.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. So we're going to go async await.
And don't forget to JSON it.
Like so.
Yep.
Okay. So that should give us back our
new count.
Let's see, new count. So this is going to be the result, and that'll be what we.
You
wait.
typoed async.
Did I? Ugh.
Yeah.
That would have been fun to debug. All right, and so new count is going to be what? Result.data. All high fives. And then we'll just do like find whatever, and then we'll get the count. So we're basically diving into the result, getting the first thing, and then returning the count. So
Sure.
that should work. Then down here, we're going to say the count.
Oh, you love those fragments.
I do love fragments. I'm actually not going to use it this time, though. Let's go with the UL, and we're going to set the count is count. And then we want a button. Well, we'll just set it in here. The button on click, we want to get high fives. And that button is going to update count.
Yeah, really janky user experience.
It's going to be great. So, did I break it? Okay, so that's okay. Something didn't work, though.
Why is it not showing?
I did something wrong.
New state is not defined.
Okay. Okay.
I'm telling you, man, always react.useState.
Okay,
Oh,
so
sorry.
This is sort of working, but we're not actually sending unexpected G in token. Eh?
Oh, is it not giving a JSON?
Well, we're also not sending it anything.
Huh?
We're also still not sending it anything. So we've basically set up a fetch, but we're sending it empty. So I think we need to add some options, right?
Yeah. This is okay. So yeah, this is where I also don't know how to use it because I use Apollo too much.
Yeah. So I've done this before.
Is it just a body?
It's the body, and I think it needs to be called query. So body is query, and we'll use high fives query. And then let's console log that. And then we'll return this. Because I think that's right.
See, I always use the network tab in case my JSONing isn't doing right. You don't need it now because you already console logging.
Yeah, we'll still need that console. So let's jump in here, hit that update count. Something exploded. Failed to execute. Request with get head cannot have body.
It's a post. It's a post.
Yeah, right. Okay, so is it
method post? Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So let's run that again. Update. Okay, we got closer.
Come on.
But it didn't like something because we also weren't. It comes back as a readable stream.
I think it's res.body.readable stream. Sorry, res.body.json.
Well, it just gave us a straight up 500. We're doing something wrong.
Let's look at your console, your terminal.
Oh, we also don't have our
div. Huh?
We also don't have our unexpected token O at position 1. Let's see, where is this actually happening? High fives 43. High fives
inside of the
43.
serverless. Oh.
Something's going wrong.
No,
so,
it's inside of the serverless function.
Right. Oh, inside of the serverless function, which is
it's in the functions.
here.
Yep, and then there's a file called high fives. So we've named it the same thing. So this must be expecting something, some other response, like the Apollo server response, right?
Did you do this?
Yes. Promisify, because I that's what I always do. But I should probably use util promisify, but I like YANA. But do you know what I mean? Like Apollo server expects a certain format.
Right. And so we are sending it the wrong thing. And that means that the thing it's expecting, well, we're missing headers. I know that for sure. Because or is it supposed to add these for us?
Yeah, that's the secret. That's for the key. So it's not exposed to the outside world.
Okay.
I'm also Googling.
Okay, so do we have just like a plain fetch, or do I need to install a bunch of stuff?
I mean, it's Apollo. Like they're gonna want you to. I don't know. There's an old blog post from Sashko.
Yeah, I did. So I did this on another repo, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. I guess I'll just poke at him for a second and see if repositories. And
so it looks like
this.
No, I don't see any. You know what we could do? We could monitor the if you know the playground. If you look at the network tab on the playground, and then you send the query, it should give you the structure of the fetch.
So I just remembered that I 100% did this, and we can
to an Apollo backend.
Yeah, to an Apollo backend, or actually to a serverless function. If I can find handle submit, which gets handed in from feedback widget, which uses, now this uses Axios, but we can still look at how it works. So it is the payload, which the payload looks like this, contains a query and then variables. And so if we pass it that, but that's right, that's what we did anyways. Because we did a query. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. So let's take a look at the playground.
Okay, yeah, look at the network tab, and then send the query. Oh,
yeah, I don't know why I refreshed. So
and then click the last one. So that should give you a good sense of what they have.
That's the request headers. And here's
operation name. What is this? Null. Oh, maybe we need to just supply all these fields because you supplied. Yeah. Okay. All right. You can just stick that in there.
So I'm going to take that straight up, and then we're going to run that.
Tell me that works.
Let's see.
Tell me that works.
Okay, so it still doesn't like that.
Yeah, we don't need rest up. Oh, it's still 500 error. What's the error code? Yeah, so rest up body.json.
So what we're sending. Oh wait, it's taken in object.object.
Why is it an object?
No idea. Which that seems silly that wouldn't just work, but let's try it again.
I don't think are you supposed to stringify it like that?
I don't know. But it took it.
Faraz says,
and it came. Oh my God! It totally works.
So it worked.
That worked.
Okay. So then we just need to remove rest up body.json.
Stringify?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any
Dude,
sense.
I always use Apollo. I always use Apollo client. That's, I mean, it's done for you. I don't have to think about it.
All right, I'm getting rid of that.
Remove the dot body, I think.
Yeah, let's just do that. And then
We
I'm
still
going to
have
run this
JSON,
again.
right?
I don't know, actually, because
I think we
the
still
world
have
doesn't
JSON.
make sense anymore. Cannot read property all high fives of undefined. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like I should have to stringify, but it 100% just passed in like object when I didn't stringify. So
JSON, no, two JSON it. You have to two JSON it.
You have to do two JSON it.
No, like no, the result of the fetch, right? Two JSON. Dot then. No. You're one level lower because you're still inside the.
Yep. Good catch.
Dot then and then res dot two JSON. Yeah, people are telling us that we don't know how to send JS objects.
Probably fair. Okay.
I mean,
so
I just use a Apollo client. It's so much better.
Oh, snap. Hey. Okay. It only takes, how many devrels does it take to build a button? Okay. So this is clearly a little bit janky, but we are also now 6 minutes over time. So I think, but what this shows and what I think is cool about this is that what we were able to do here is say what we needed. And I think I'm going to test one more test before we go, because I want to see how all this works. I'm going to refresh, update, and I get it back. So we don't actually need this stuff. We just need to send in the query. And so effectively what we're doing here is we're sending like this fetch off to our serverless function that's managed by Netlify. And then in Netlify, we are able to just kind of execute that query, which is already scaffolded out for us. We didn't make any changes whatsoever into this high fives function that was created. It just runs. And so by writing out the schema that we wanted and then writing out the queries that we wanted, we can send off like the mutations and all the things that we need to change these values. So if I actually what I can do is I'm going to keep these and I'm going to set the count to 999. And then I'm going to pass in the mutation instead.
Damn.
And we're going to see if this works.
Then you need to fetch it again. Yeah, because it's expecting a read. Because you no longer have an all high fives.
Because it's going to return this, which comes back with a count, which means that I actually just need the count. Yes?
I think you just
see. Okay, let's try it. Damn it. Okay. So thought I was getting clever, but no, you're absolutely right. So what we would need to do here is let's console log the result and see what came out of it. And go to the console, update. It's going to crash, but it gives us back an error because variable count is used. Oh, what does that mean?
Oh, it's int exclamation mark.
Oh, I didn't. So I wrote the wrong thing. So we go up
GraphQL.
here and we say that it's like this.
GraphQL. Come on. That's so stupid, right?
Like, cut me some slack. Cut me some slack, bro. Okay. So then we get back some data. We get create high five and we get a count. So I just need to update this to be data create high five dot count. And now if I go in here, bam, 999 high fives. So that is, I'm feeling pretty good about that. How do you feel about that?
It took us way too long to get there, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good because the whole point is you can define your schema, upload it, and then start working with it. It's really the dream. Netlify takes no credit for this. This is all Fauna's work. And I think AppSync does the same thing.
Yeah, I played with AppSync in a live stream like a week or two ago with Nodder Dabbit, and we did something really similar to this, which was, I mean, it's great. And I love that tooling is starting to move in this direction where the really kind of finicky configuration stuff just gets abstracted because it's a solved problem, right? And so we just let the people who have solved those problems solve them for us. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be a fun thing to play with. Shawn, I think that's all the time we got today. Where should people find
Yeah.
you? I mean, I know for sure we want them looking at you on Twitter. Like Shawn is very active on Twitter.
The
So
4-letter handle always works.
yeah, but yeah, so go
Yeah, I mean,
go follow him there for sure. Where else?
that's about it. I'm in New York. If people want to hang out, always just give me a shout. I am active on like the React subreddit r/React.js. And yeah, like check out our blog post and Netlify Dev. I'm the sort of the lead maintainer for now. So if anyone has any issues using Netlify Dev, let me know and I'll fix it.
Awesome. And Netlify Dev is, let's see, we had it in here somewhere. Netlify Dev.
Right.
Here's a direct link to Netlify Dev if you want to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Well, Shawn, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was a ride.
No, it's good. We get to learn in public, right? And I feel like we did a lot of that today.
Yes, learn in public. That's another thing that I really like.
All right,
Cool.
man.
Well, thanks for all taking all your time. Thanks for everyone on the live stream. Sorry for all the frustrations that we had. This is the raw, unfiltered coding experience, right?
It's always great, you know. You just blunder your way through, and eventually you get something that works. And I feel like that's exactly what we did today. So thanks everybody. Make sure you check out on the Twitch stream. There are a whole list of events coming up. We've got next week. I think I haven't even written this down yet. I haven't even written this. No, wait. Yeah. No. So next week, we're going to look at Airtable using it as a CMS. The week after that, I'm going to be on with Andre, and I can't remember what we're talking about. Then Henry Zhu and I from Babel are going to be working on a Gatsby podcast theme. We've got all sorts of exciting stuff coming up. So make sure you head over to twitch.tv/JLangsdorf. Hit the follow button, and let's definitely be best friends on Twitch. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Bye.